Hi, thank you all for joining today. If you are on this session, this is the live Q&A session for the Quantum and Circadian Challenge. It's a 10-day challenge, and this is the first time I'm offering this Q&A live. You send your questions through email, or if you are part of my private group, you can send your questions there. And today I decided to offer this for the first time to my challengers. So if you are seeing this, thank you for supporting my small business and for joining the challenge. I'm really excited to take your questions. If we don't have any questions right now, I had someone ask me a question in private that I thought I would dive into a little bit more and help break down some of that information. So the question was about exclusion zone water. This is a hot topic, especially today because it's World Water Day. So happy World Water Day, everybody. We are going to talk about exclusion zone water briefly, and also cellular hydration, because if you read all the challenge mini lessons, you saw that I referred to a metabolic water a lot. And by now you know that cellular hydration or hydration for our body is more than just about drinking water. I used to be so hung up about drinking 100 ounces of water per day, and you can be doing 100 ounces of water per day and still be dehydrated on a cellular level. So I wanted to break that down a little bit more, especially today in honor of World Water Day. Also, I will have my blog up later today about exclusion zone water and what that is. So I am going to briefly talk about that right now. Exclusion zone water, which is also known as fourth phase water. It's a crystalline gel. It's organized water. Also, metabolic water made by the mitochondria becomes this exclusion zone water. And it's unique, and it's a highly structured form of water found throughout the human body. And this water surrounds every biological hydrophilic surface. So maybe from biology class, you remember that our cells have a hydrophobic and hydrophilic surface. So the surfaces that are hydrophobic don't like water. So everything else in our body that is hydrophilic, that likes water, is surrounded by this exclusion zone water. And this exclusion zone water surrounds things like cell membranes, proteins, organelles, molecules, and it excludes particles and solutes, larger items. So it creates this clean zone around these biological structures. And in this clean zone, you will only find very, very tiny particles like electrons or photons, for example, photons being light particles. And this highly organized water, it plays a crucial role in cellular processes like nutrient transport, energy production, and communication between the cells. And it allows for very efficient functioning of the body and coherence. So this water is how our body communicates between every cell faster than the speed of light. So the way all of our cells are connected, you may have seen in one of the lessons, is through our fascial network. Fascia, it's this denser tissue on a larger scale that surrounds all of our organs, and it's from top to bottom. But if you go down onto a smaller scale, smaller level, you have the extracellular matrix that actually is connected to the fascia. And so the cells are not actually touching, there's spaces around all the cells. And those spaces are actually surrounded by the water. So this extracellular matrix, it's on the outside of the cell. It's connected to the fascia. And then that extracellular matrix actually passes through the cell via integrins. There are proteins called integrins. So those integrins, they're transmembrane proteins, and so that fascia is connected to the extracellular matrix, then through the integrins, crossing the cell, and inside of the cell, you've got the cytoskeleton of the cell, and then that cytoskeleton of the cell, it actually will cross into the nucleus of the cell. So and then that inside the nucleus of the cell, it's no longer called the cytoskeleton, it's called the nuclear matrix. So if you think about it,
You're good?
our fascial network is what helps connect every single cell in our body because of the water system that surrounds all the biological surfaces. So that water network is very important. A lot of things occur because of this water network. This water network helps protect our cell as well from toxins because it's this clean zone, so nothing can pass it. So the more you support it, and the larger that exclusion zone is, the healthier your cells will be and have more ability to detox themselves. And the more efficient you will be at fighting inflammation. This is also known as redox potential, your ability to fight off inflammation and help calm reactive oxygen species, neutralize that in the body. That's the redox potential. So cellular hydration, it's more than drinking water. Actually, the water we drink it contributes to volume. So it's not for nothing. You still want to consume water, but that water doesn't necessarily mean your cells are hydrated. So what helps hydrate your cells? I'm going to go through a list and try to cover some of these briefly on how to hydrate your cells, but also support your exclusion zone water. Sunlight exposure. Number one, sunlight exposure will help you increase your exclusion zone water. In particular, infrared and red light will expand your exclusion zone, and ultraviolet light will energize the electrons that exist in that exclusion zone. So ultimately becomes this plasma of free electrons, like a battery. All this water is like battery for our body. And the sun does that. And not only that, but sunlight exposure, particularly ultraviolet B, will trigger vitamin D synthesis in the skin. Your body is activated, and the photons from the energy and information from those photons of light that are in ultraviolet B rays will activate your body to use cholesterol to make this vitamin D. And vitamin D plays a crucial role in calcium absorption, which is essential for cellular health. Number two, a great way to help support your exclusion zone water is by minimizing non-native electromagnetic frequencies. So limiting how much exposure you have to non-native EMFs. So things like Wi-Fi, screen time, whether it's from televisions, computers, phones, these devices do emit electromagnetic frequencies that are not natural. They're not native, and our body doesn't respond well to them. So, for example, I turn off my Wi-Fi at night when I sleep. And if my husband forgets to turn it off before bed, I know because we have terrible sleep. I wake up multiple times, and the few times I ever wake up at night, it's because the Wi-Fi was left on. So, what this does on a cellular level inside of our mitochondria, one of the things that, well, on a basic level, you can't get into restoration, restorative sleep, regeneration, repair. You can't get to that level because the cells are not doing what they normally are supposed to do. So, for example, calcium channels on the outside of the cells are supposed to open and close. They open and close, only allowing a certain amount of calcium inside of the cell. But when your body is constantly bombarded by these non-native electromagnetic frequencies from Wi-Fi, especially now with 5G, it's stronger. And our mitochondria senses this. You don't consciously sense this, but our body is very intelligent and it senses this. Those calcium channels will stay open, and you will get too much calcium flowing inside of the cell. It throws the cell off of its balance. It will increase voltage of the cell, which is not a good thing. The cell needs to stay in a negative voltage. Too much calcium increases the voltage. And then also you can get mitochondrial swelling. The mitochondria will not produce ATP as fast. It will not make enough metabolic water, as fast metabolic water So a lot of things take place on a very, very small scale, but now think about it, we have a lot of mitochondria. So if this is happening to every single mitochondria in the body, you can imagine that it will manifest on a larger scale. And in my family, for myself, this manifests in my sleep. My body feels that. So that's just one example of how non-native EMFs can affect your body. Something that can fall under this category as well is blue light, which is why I have on these blue blocking glasses right now. I am in a very sunny place. I'm not getting too much infrared through this window or ultraviolet, but I am getting more than normal blue through the screen. I'm also not getting that infrared and red light to help dilute some of the blue, which is why I have these glasses on right now. We know from the research, and there's a lot of studies, there are actually over 10,000 studies done on photobiomodulation, light therapy, and on light. So we know that blue light in large amounts, when it's not diluted by all the other frequencies of light, like red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, ultraviolet, and infrared, when it's not diluted by those other wavelengths, too much blue can be toxic for the body. And we know through Gerald Pollack's work on water, he's like the father of, and he's still alive today, of Exclusion Zone Water. He studies this extensively in his lab, and he's found that blue light exposure will deplete our exclusion zone in our water by 20 to 50%. And that's a lot. That's a lot. You want a larger exclusion zone because these zones throughout the body, again, protects our body, protects from toxins, from things like glyphosate, from things like parasites. These persistent organic pollutants that try to get inside of our cell, they will cross if that exclusion zone is very small. You want to keep that exclusion zone large to keep those things, to keep large particles out of our cells. So number 3 way to hydrate on a cellular level is using a ketogenic diet. A ketogenic diet helps increase metabolic water. When the body is burning fat for energy, it produces more metabolic water, actually about 4 times more than when the body is burning carbs for fuel or sugar, carbohydrates. This is because fat molecules contain more hydrogen atoms, which are released as water during the metabolic process. And as electrons from fat molecules travel through the electron transport chain in the mitochondria, they generate greater proton gradients, leading to increased ATP production and motor molecule formation. On a basic level, when the mitochondria is using fat for fuel, or when it's getting its electrons from fats, when it's oxidizing fat, it's creating more metabolic water and more ATP, 4 times more. So that's one way to support your exclusion zone, because that metabolic water, as soon as it comes out of the electron transport chain as H2O, and then as soon as it touches a biological surface, it becomes H3O2. Structured 4th phase water. Number 4 way to cellular hydration is through red light therapy. You get a massive cellular energy boost through red light and infrared light. It stimulates cellular energy production in the mitochondria, which is the battery of our cell. Red light can boost mitochondrial function, stimulate cellular energy production in the mitochondria. It also increases blood flow. We know that there's improved blood flow circulation, and it enhances nutrient delivery and waste removal, which aids in cellular hydration. Red light is also anti-inflammatory. It reduces inflammation, which can hinder cellular function and hydration. And then along the lines of red light therapy, number 5, also infrared sauna is a great way. Infrared light. So whether you're getting it from sunrise in the morning or daybreak pre-sunrise, you could get free infrared light therapy and red light therapy. But also infrared saunas offer this energy boost, and it's a great health option and biohack if you can't do the sunrises, but nothing beats sun. It helps with deep tissue heating. These saunas help penetrate deeper into tissues and they promote sweating and detoxification. There's increased heat that can stimulate cellular repair processes, including those related to hydration. And then there's also another way to help boost cellular hydration is mindful hydration. And what this is referring to is things like drinking water with intention. So even maybe if you talk to your water prior and you're speaking kind words to it, there are studies that show that this can help enhance its energetic impact. And there was one study that found that the water will literally reorganize itself to become structured. So it goes from chaos and no structure in the water to structured water. And then some believe that structuring water through techniques like vortexing or using specific containers can improve its hydration properties as well. Electrolytes. I am going to talk about electrolytes. That's number 7. So you want, when you are consuming water, and I talked about this in the challenge, in the lessons, it's more than just consuming the water, right? You want to have quality water, and that means mineralized water and water with electrolytes. Electrolyte supplementing is great, and you want mineral-rich water. So it's not just about consuming water, because some time, for example, if you're drinking purified water, that water is going to take all of your minerals out of your body. It's going to dilute the electrolytes in your body and just you're going to end up peeing all of that stuff out, and now you are left with no minerals and no electrolytes in your body. And these are things that need to be replenished. It's not like something your body can just make. You have to replenish minerals, you have to replenish electrolytes. Consuming mineral-rich water, such as spring water or water infused with minerals, I like to use trace minerals, can optimize cellular hydration. And balancing electrolytes in the body, especially sodium, potassium, and magnesium, can enhance cellular water retention. I'll just briefly mention there are quantum energy practices like meditation. This is number 8. It can reduce stress, which will dehydrate cells. There are practices like Qigong and Tai Chi. These practices can improve energy flow and circulation, and it aids in cellular hydration. There are lots of great studies on these practices. So by incorporating some of these quantum techniques into your daily routine, you can enhance cellular hydration and overall well-being. And then as a side note, I wanted to also mention that you can support exclusion zone water, and also there are habits that you can do that will deplete exclusion zone water. So some of those habits I already mentioned: having too much blue light at night, too much screens after sunset, screen time, that will deplete exclusion zone water. But also things like toxins, glyphosate, inorganic foods, those can also deplete exclusion zone water. So it's interesting because you can do those things and not be highly effective when you have a large exclusion zone. But if you are consuming those things and you don't have a large exclusion zone, they can affect you. They also do affect you if you do have a large exclusion zone, it can deplete it. So you're supporting the exclusion zone by not having those things. I'm going to end it right here. Thank you so much for being here right now, whether you are here live or whether you're seeing the replay. And I hope that this has been helpful and it helps down some more of this information. If you do have questions on anything I shared here today, please feel free to leave it in the private Q&A group if you are a part of that. It's a paid private for people to ask their questions. If you did the challenge, you can also send me an email or wait for the next live Q&A session and ask your question then. So I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of your day. Happy World Water Day, and I'll see you guys later.